Midwinter mist still clung to the Buckingham facade when a single limousine slid through the south gate, its windows blacker than the Thames at midnight. Courtiers swear the king himself was inside, clutching a manila folder stamped Stage 4, Prognosis Review. The engine idled for 31 seconds, long enough, according to lip readers on the security footage, for Charles to mouth just 4 words to his private secretary: "William must be ready." Hours later, Canada learned its parliament would receive a reigning monarch for the first time since 1957, yet the itinerary was so compressed, a frantic 20-hour whistle-stop, that even veteran officials called it a Himalayan sprint in brogues. Why gamble with transatlantic stress while undergoing weekly chemo? The answer, insiders whisper, is simple: legacy cannot wait for white blood cell counts. Every royal reign is measured by firsts. Charles ticked off almost every ceremonial debut in 20 months: first King's Speech, first Maundy, first Commonwealth Day address, yet one first remained: the father-to-son transfer of emotional wisdom that Windsor men historically botch. Elizabeth II never uttered those words to Charles. Philip never dared. But doctors, confronted by lung scan shadows darker than heraldic sable, convinced Charles he had 40 treatment weeks to rewrite centuries of paternal frost. So, on a rain-hushed Sunday at Sandringham, he finally spoke: "Please don't make the mistake I made. Enjoy your family life." Witnesses say William's knuckles whitened around a teacup. Those 12 syllables recalibrated 1,000 years of dynastic priority. Yet duty does not yield gracefully. As Catherine's preventive chemotherapy drained color from her cheeks, William's public diary ballooned like an overinflated corgi balloon at Trooping the Color. 1 week. Solo investiture at Windsor, next morning an RAF Veterans Memorial, afternoon hospice opening in Reading, each engagement a reminder that the princess's absence left a perceptible chill on red carpet lines. Paparazzi zoom lenses captured William checking his phone before every handshake, hunting for the reassuring flash of Catherine's private ringtone. He smiles on cue, but palace audio technicians noticed his stage whisper between hymns inside St. George's Chapel: "I keep hearing Dad's clock ticking." The clock is loud if you know where to listen. Consider the Canada schedule. Wheels down 9:42 local, 10:30 meeting with Governor General, 12:05 carriage to Parliament, 12:37 speech from the throne, 23 minutes precisely, 2 p.m. wreath-laying, 15:10 audience with the Metis National Council. By 1820 the RAF Voyager already taxiing for the red-eye back to London. Flight medics installed a portable infusion pump in the VIP suite. Fox drips at altitude while Camilla pretends to study briefing papers. She keeps a cheery facade, yet cabin crew noticed her writing a note on Canadian stationery. He still believes he can outrun it. She tore the paper into perfect squares and flushed them before landing at Bryce Norton. Across the ocean, Harry watched the Ottawa livestream from a Beijing hotel suite, time zone insomnia lit by news tickers predicting his father's abbreviated reign. At 4 o'clock Beijing time he finalized his Travelist keynote, closing with a cryptic line many saw as a dart aimed over the Pacific: "We inherit the earth on borrowed time, choose how you spend the overtime." British tabloids exploded overnight. The Sun ran a banner: "Harry's overtime dig, shock to the palace." William refused comment, yet aides confirmed the Duke's name was erased from 2 prospective reconciliation memoranda drafted by Archbishop Welby. The optics of family unity dimmed further. Meanwhile, Parliament Square civil servants rehearsed Operation Menai Bridge twice in a single fortnight. Black-edged announcements printed, Carolean timings recalculated, and the new KC3 cipher quietly removed from provisional programs after March 2026. Treasury mandarins worry about gilt's volatility. Bank of England modelers run contingency simulations on a 2.3% spike in uncertainty if the throne transitions during a global election year. Even the Metropolitan Police widen crowd control maps. William's coronation, whenever it comes, is predicted to draw the largest in-person gathering in UK history thanks to TikTok pilgrimages. Inside Windsor's Augustus Tower, Charles keeps his own numbers. His desk blotter shows chemotherapy week 14 circled in Windsor blue, the day he's allowed his first post-diagnosis single malt, a small Balmoral dram to toast Highland perseverance. Beneath that date he has penciled 2 names and a question mark. William Catherine, joint regency? Constitutional scholars argue spousal co-regency is improbable. Still, Charles likes to test the edges. He telephoned the Archbishop of Canterbury for theological precedent. Lambeth Palace confirmed precedent non-existent, but scripture flexible. Charles chuckled. Flexible scripture, the very phrase terrifies the fundamentalists. Conspiracy chatter intensifies. One leaked email claims de la Rue halted print runs of £5 notes bearing Charles's portrait after only 3 barrels, switching to stockpiling polymer ready for a rapid portrait change. Another rumor says the king's valet secretly fitted mourning collars to 4 of his bespoke Anderson and Shepherd suits, ready for an eventual vigil. Buckingham Palace calls it nonsense, yet the suits indeed left the tailor's premises under plain covers. Pollsters track sentiment curves. Trust in the monarchy rises 5 points when William appears with Catherine, falls 7 points when Harry's sound bites rotate on breakfast television, stabilizes when Charles is photographed planting trees. The monarchy's PR algorithm is clear: family image equals swarm stability, but controlling variables is impossible when 2 senior royals battle cancer and 1 estranged prince freelances across continents. While journalists scribble, Sarah Burton of Alexander McQueen secretly alters Catherine's coronation dress prototype, adding a subtle nod to Celtic knotwork, just in case William ascends sooner than designer's initial 2035 estimate. And yet behind every spreadsheet lies a heartbeat. Charles refuses to shift the Sandringham Christmas pheasant shoot. He declares, "If I'm still vertical, we keep tradition." Doctors suggest low-impact walks. He replies tradition is its own medicine. His Scottish factor overheard the king practicing the Gaelic phrase for "I leave this land in safe hands." Who are the hands? William's, obviously, but sometimes Charles's eyes flicker toward Princess Charlotte's portrait, as if calculating the granddaughter who inherited both Diana's steel and the Spencer cheekbones could someday steady the ship. Catherine fights her battle away from the Klieg lights, but her influence seeps through Windsor corridors like lavender. Staff reorganize children's school-run rotas so she can conserve energy. Charlotte, aware of more than adults guess, affixes sticky notes reading "Mummy will win" onto her bedroom telescope. George, at Lambrook's Chapel, reportedly asked the chaplain whether kings can request miracles without bribing God. The chaplain answered with awkward earnestness. George shrugged, "Worth asking." Meanwhile, Conservative MPs anxious about a potential regency push a private member's bill to clarify Councillor of State powers during partial incapacity. Labour strategists smell opportunism. Newspapers craft headlines about Crown at a crossroads. Through it all, Charles hosts a charity recital in the picture gallery, greeting donors with unforced warmth. Still, a photographer's high-zoom lens captures the monarch discreetly flexing his left hand, the neuropathy tremor always worse after chemocycle day 2. The Canadian Foreign Office communiqué praises the king's fortitude, yet Ottawa staff privately admit they cut 3 receptions from the draft schedule at palace insistence. When Charles boarded the RAF Voyager home, a stewardess overheard him mutter, "Did we give them enough?" Camilla squeezed his hand, replying, "You gave them the crown itself. They'll remember." Hospital corridors remain Charles's hidden battleground. Royal Marston Night orderlies report he jokes with fellow patients, calling intravenous stands jealous scepters. He requests extra blankets for an elderly widow next curtain over, slips an unsigned book token into her handbag, then dons a beanie and exits via service lift to avoid paparazzi. Aides track these stealth excursions with half exasperation, half admiration. And William? He has started dawn runs around Kensington Gardens, headphones pumping Churchill speeches spliced with Coldplay. His health app log shows mileage spikes on days with negative press cycles. When he stops to stretch beside the Italian gardens, he sometimes phones his father, both men wordlessly listening to London birdsong until traffic intrudes. No words necessary, the ticking clock is conversation enough. Experts forecast 3 scenarios. Remission marathon, Charles stabilizes, reign extends to 2032, managed regency illness curtails but doesn't end duties, William shares, or accelerated accession, state funeral inside 4 years. Buckingham Palace contingency teams rehearse all 3. In a secure basement room, technicians test a holographic projection of St. Edward's crown for possible global livestream AR filters, ensuring Gen Z engagement even during mourning. But even the best algorithms can't quantify faith. In May, Charles asked the Chapel Royal choristers to sing Talas's "If Ye Love Me" half a tone higher than usual. Musical historians note Elizabeth I requested the same when facing the Spanish Armada. A private chapel footman interpreted this as Charles's call to fortitude, but others suspect a coded message: raise the pitch, lift the spirits, shorten the lament. So the monarchy soldiers on. Trooping the colour will still blaze across horse guards. The garter procession will still rustle velvet down St. George's Hill. Royal ascot hats will still defy physics. Yet within the guarded apartments, watchmakers are winding heirloom clocks, ensuring they won't falter during the long hours of vigil to come. Remember the pattern: August oncology scan, Braemar gathering attendance, Washington summit stamina. 3 data points. Connect them and you can trace the crown's immediate horizon. We will track each beat, each hush, each hurried flight manifest. Join us in the next episode as we unmask the reason a newly commissioned portrait of King Charles was rushed behind velvet drapes after only one public day, why palace controllers ordered 120 extra black Rolls-Royce umbrellas, and which high-ranking Windsor has quietly sought constitutional advice on dual heirship of the Duchy of Cornwall. The clock is ticking louder. Stay with us until the final chime. Tap like to keep our reports buzzing beyond the palace gates, subscribe so you never miss an encrypted whisper, and ring the bell that resonates longer than Westminster's Great Tom. In royal London, nothing is officially said until it must be, but everything is unmistakably felt long before.